Hello and welcome everybody. Today we are going to be talking about Paws for Patrick, the story of how we got here and what we can do for you. The goal of this video is just to give you a quick introduction into our organization and help you sort out what can usually be the most confusing part, which is figuring out where to start. So, Paws for Patrick is a non-profit organization dedicated to connecting young people with emotional support animals and therapy dogs, which will help them improve their quality of life as they live with mental illness. We are proud to say that this organization is improving and changing the lives of young people living with mental illnesses in ways that are deep and profound. Paws for Patrick was started in honor of Patrick Romer's love and deep connection to animals. Patrick struggled with depression and anxiety most of his life, and like many people living with mental illness, his pain often went misunderstood, and very few people were able to comprehend what he was going through. He began to withdraw from things he previously enjoyed, and then just stopped doing them altogether. His family tried therapy and medication, but nothing seemed to help. Then, on a whim, his parents bought him a dog from a nearby shelter, which he named Cece. Cece helped improve the quality of life for not just Patrick, but his loved ones taking care of him, and whenever Patrick was at his lowest, he felt most comforted with his beloved dog, Cece. And that's where Paws for Patrick comes in. This organization was founded in order to help other people suffering from mental illnesses seek help just like Patrick was able to from his own dog. There are several divisions in this organization, but in the Emotional Support Animal Division, we help connect children and young adults with an ESA while they live with mental illness. Our focus is on children and young adults up to the age of 26, but we have also been able to help out other ages when resources are available. There are many different ways we can help, and it can be anything from getting an ESA certification letter, adopting, or even certifying a current pet. We will work with you to see what your best options are. When you're considering getting an emotional support animal, it's important to consider all of the benefits that an ESA can bring you. Some common benefits are that they address isolation and increase self-esteem. They are very good at reducing anxiety and tend to increase feelings of safety and comfort. They can even reduce symptoms of illness with their emotional support. Overall, we've had clients tell us that their ESA has made them become a more active participant in their daily lives. In 2015, Miho Nagasawa shared with Science magazine the internal chemical reaction when looking into a dog's eyes. First, the human and dog need to meet each other's eyes and hold them in a gaze. The human's pituitary will then release oxytocin. The activation of oxytocin system enhances social rewards and inhibits the stress-induced activity of the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis. This could be why oxytocin is sometimes referred to as the love hormone or the cuddle hormone. When it is released in the body while locked in a gaze with their dog, the human feels calm and relaxed. In keeping gaze with the dog will also release oxytocin and have a similar effect on the dog. There is a distinct bonding effect when this occurs. Many types of pets other than just dogs also have benefits. Rustin Moore, the dean of the College of Veterinary Medicine at Ohio State, described in 2017 how there's a lot of new evidence that's developing on how beneficial pets are to your health, physically, mentally, emotionally, and socially. Part of the evidence that emerged is that your pets can actually physiologically change you. Your blood pressure can go down, and your blood cortisol, which is a stress hormone, can also go down. Moore also talked about how oxytocin, the feel-good hormone, will go up. Zueia is a newly coined term which describes the emotional and physical benefits that happens when you interact with animals. So dogs are not the only animals that would make great emotional support animals. An individual's connection to one's rabbit, bird, cat, or even a ferret are examples of, but not limited to, the possibilities of being a successful ESA. So let's clarify. We get a lot of new requests looking for ESAs, but they will commonly say that they are looking for a service animal. There is a definite difference between emotional support animal, service animal, and therapy dogs. We have a division of therapy dogs that have gone to schools, clinics, and individual homes. The therapy dog can only work for 1 hour, and if you're interested in learning more about the therapy dog program, you should go to our website at pawsforpatrick.org and click on the toolbar that says Therapy Dogs. There you will learn about upcoming events and request to schedule a home visit. Unfortunately, we are not currently set up to assist individuals needing a service animal. By definition, a service animal is a dog that is trained to perform a supportive function for its owner, such as guiding an owner who is blind or alerting an owner who is deaf. Some service dogs can even be trained to detect their owner's feeling when they're feeling anxious or anticipate anxiety attack. Other service dog can even detect hormones as well as the fall and rise of brain chemicals and facial and vocal cues that someone is feeling anxious or even depressed. This requires a much higher level of training, but we do hope to support this someday. In the meantime, though, we are able to assist with acquiring an emotional support animal. In the middle of the slide, you can see what the abilities and requirements are for classifying an animal as an ESA. They are defined as an animal whose primary purpose is to provide comfort to their handlers, and an ESA can live in almost any no-pet policy housing with a certified ESA letter from a therapist. So if you listen to all that and still think that getting an ESA is right for you or your child, go to our website, pawsforpatrick.org, and click on the top toolbar where it says Emotional Support Animals. From there you can click on Get Our Help and the Paws for Patrick help request form will come up. Please fill out as much information as you can. When it comes to getting you a wish granter volunteer who will help you through this process, we need all the information that we request. We do not share any of this personal information. Once your form is complete, just click Submit at the bottom of the page. It's as simple as that. Usually within the next 24 hours, you will get acknowledgement of your submission. If anything was left blank on your form, this is usually when we will have to request more information before we assign you a volunteer to help. Missing information, depending on how fast you provide the requested information, will determine how much time is added to this process. It can be up to a few weeks before a volunteer will be able to reach out for you. In the meantime, though, you can always reach back out if you have any questions to the initial email that confirmed your application. Next, our volunteers will set up a time to talk. The volunteers that assist in the ESA program are affectionately called wish granters. Since every client has a different need or requirement, a wish granter will set up a time to talk with you personally. It is easiest to have a one-on-one short conversation rather than a long-winded texting conversation. The initial call should only take a few minutes to verify your information and explain our procedure. Once you have talked with the wish granter, they will send you an adoption waiver. They will send you this form even if you are just training a current animal you already have. The adoption waiver will either be funds or no funds depending on your needs, and nobody is denied based on their ability to pay. The wish granter cannot move forward until that form is signed and returned. Once the waiver is received, the wish granter will get a therapist release form that our therapist will use to set up an introduction. If you already have an ESA letter from your own therapist, we will just need verification. Dan MacLeod is our current head therapist. He has trained and instructed our other therapist about the process of clarifying and preparing ESA certification letters. MacLeod is working on training other therapists in other states to help us meet the needs of rising numbers of ESA requests. A time is set up to meet with our therapist. It is most likely going to be a Zoom meeting. This will be between you and your therapist. Your wish granter is not a part of your personal therapy session. During the meeting, the therapist will assess your need for an ESA. The therapist will then notify the wish granter whether they think an ESA is warranted and appropriate. Once we have verified that getting an ESA is appropriate, we will next need to verify that housing is approved. The wish granter will make sure that your housing is aware of your intent to get an emotional support animal and that the proper paperwork is submitted. Sometimes parent approval is needed. If the client is over 18 and they live at home during any part of the year, parent approval is necessary for us. The wish granter will need a signed form that the parent is giving consent for the animal to be at their home, even if it is only for part of the year. Oftentimes, we will also work with universities during this approval process. Your college or university must be notified before the ESA can be brought to school. Having an ESA can determine what dorm and what roommates are given to the client. Some schools even have restrictions on the size of an ESA and required location of the animal when the client is in class. All roommates must sign off accepting the responsibilities of an ESA. The roommates are made aware that the ESA is not going to be their responsibility, but that the ESA will be in their living quarters. The last aspect is landlord approval process. According to the Federal Housing Association, landlords must make reasonable accommodation for tenants with disabilities. In the name of a landlord, they must have at least 4 rental units, and as always, the law can be interpreted for reasonable accommodations as they please. Your wish granter will try and help guide you. This will give you all of the necessary paperwork, but the client is ultimately responsible for any landlord interaction. Once the landlord has given approval in writing, the wish granter can move forward. Now for the exciting part, actually finding the emotional support animal. Once all of the paperwork is in and approval is given from the therapist and housing, we will help you find the emotional support animal of your dreams. When finding an ESA, we will work with shelters in your area. We have a large database of shelters, and if you live in a location we have not yet serviced, we will help research local shelters near you. Since no one can really choose an ESA better than our own client, we have them choose the animal that would be best for them. We've had clients who have selected dogs, cats, rabbits, snakes, and even a guinea pig. It's really what animal speaks to the client. Basic training is usually very important, especially when it comes to dogs. If the client decides on a dog, we have basic training skills that will be recommended for a good base of training. Those include to come when called, and simple commands such as sit, down, stay, drop it, and back up. If there are other skills that the client wants or needs the dog to do, that is up to them. Some clients have wanted their dog to place the dog's head on a client's lap. Again, whatever emotional support skills a client is looking for, we will try and do our best to have that training included. We have up to a certain donation amount that we will give for basic training, and the client can use that to get whatever skills that will be covered by that amount. The importance of training is consistency. We cannot stress this enough. We will help provide the skills through training, but the client needs to help their ESA learn those skills. We want you to know that each one of our clients is special to us and they each have their own unique story about their emotional support animal. We have been lucky enough to be part of their journey in acquiring an ESA, but the journey does not end there. I invite you to take a minute to read these personal testimonies on the slide. After working with us, we'd love for you to post your experience on our social media to help us. In sharing your story, you can help us with normalizing discussions around mental health. We are trying to bring awareness to our cause, and with your help, we can build corporate partners, which in turn enable us to help more clients. And most importantly, your relationship with Paws for Patrick is ongoing. We are always willing to do what we can to help you. If you ever need more support or connections, please reach back out. We recommend you keep your first contact email so that you know who to send an email to. You can also reach back out through our website. We at Paws for Patrick in the Emotional Support Animal Program are dedicated to continuing to work with young people who live with mental illness by connecting them with emotional support animals. Thank you for listening. We hope this has helped ease your transition into the ESA program, and we look forward to speaking with you soon.